I want more people to join me for my era. I want them to join it, releasing records, working hard on them shits. I want to hear how people feel. I want to hear their art. I don't want to hear the trends. I want to hear the art. Express it, do it, be free. And that's what I'm trying to give to the game now, is that, straight up. Just be free with it.
All right, so we celebrating 50 years. We have the Godfather, Kool Herc here. Recording Industries of America want to send a tribute and honor to the Kool Herc and his sister Cindy Campbell. These two are just having a little party down the block, and we moved it over to Yankee Stadium so we can have a bigger time, all right?
It all started 50 years ago today, right here in the Bronx, with one innovator, and his name is DJ Kool Herc.
We wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you, and it is our great honor to present you with this Cultural Impact Award. Congratulations.
Thank you. I have to say, I was here away from Jamaica. They say what? Them born the people. But remember, you can't stop it. It's an immigrant story. Are we here? And 50 years later, we does the culture. Thank you very much.
For that Yankee Stadium. But we have a special person here, Queen Mother. She want to present Kool Herc with a blessing gift. She want to present it for everybody here so this blessing could continue. Queen Mother, please.
In the spirit of our ancestors, their divine force of life itself, what a son has given to their divine family for 50 years, the culture of a people. We as an African people, Queen Mother been at the United Nations for 54 years as a humanitarian and spending time with the hip-hop community over the years. Kool Herc never forget who he is. Kool Herc held on to the culture of a people.
Right. So there was a meeting where someone was sent to, as Kool Herc's representative, and the question got to the point where, okay, did Kool Herc create hip-hop? And this is someone that's Kool Herc's peer. And he was like, no. But am I gonna say that in public? No. And then he rightfully said, because your motherfuckers are the ones who started calling him the father. You know, but we were told that by Bambaataa. So we didn't know better.
Music he played made life work and made him a legend. Kool DJ Herc.
Kool Herc, Kool. Who's that? I'm that guy who started all this mess, okay? From b-board to dancing and making it your groove on. That's it. Get you up and sit you down. Oh, this is my sister. She started me out, okay?
I'm the first hip-hop promoter. My back-to-school party that I gave, 1520 Cedric Avenue, August 11, 1973. That was the birth of hip-hop. At the time, New York City was almost bankrupt. There was really nothing there for kids to do. When we started the party, it was different because you felt connected. You felt a part of it.
When Kool Herc gave a party, everybody be there.
I didn't want my party to be whack, so I said, Herc, I'm giving a party and you're gonna play the music. And he said, okay. How are you?
Pretty good. Everybody showed up, had a good time.
Wow.
People heard music they never heard before.
The Ozzy Brothers, Jimmy Castor, Gladys Knight, Baby U, the Mexican. When I did 2 records, I extend the records. Right now, I'm gonna call this the merry-go-round.
If you look in the vinyl, when there's a heavy groove on there, that's when Herc said, oh, okay, that's the groove. And the B-boys were just waiting for that.
Yeah. Those are my turntables. That was it. You don't fudge no more. This right here, this is the power. And also system cooled out at the same time. So it never overheated. We gave another way out because I remember I met Big.
But I never left the Bronx, and I love the Bronx. I don't want to leave.
What Herc did was throw down the sound of forgotten heroes like James Brown and separate the good stuff from the junk with the emphasis on a lot of funk. And in the middle of a funky sound, Kokla Rock, his rapper, would go to town. The music was hot and very loud with participation to excite the crowd. Then Herc would drop a mighty blast with a golden oldie from music past.
Cedric, 1520. Over 10 years ago.
Well, look at that medallion. What happened to that?
Got stolen. I was like my bags like a sheriff.
There's a record. If I put that to myself, I said, if they're waiting for this particular break and I have a couple more records that's got the same breakup in it, I wonder how would it be if I put them all together. And I told them, I said, I'm going to try something new tonight. I'm going to call it a merry-go-round.
Herc's merry-go-round meant that instead of playing whole records, he would play just the instrumental breaks, mixing between them to create a continuous dance rhythm.
I started out with James Brown, clap your hand, stomp your feet. That part right.
Okay, but one thing is for sure, you saying them rhymes, getting on the mic, you didn't get that from Jamaican.
No, not at all.
MCs.
I didn't, okay, I'm gonna tell a secret. I didn't know Herc was Jamaican until about 2 years.
2 years in?
Yeah. I didn't know he was Jamaican.
Wow.
Until I went to his house.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because that's the narrative that he brought Jamaican culture here, you on the mic, because the Jamaicans was
I was always imitating James Brown, always, and that kind of stuck.
So what were you doing sound-wise? Were you like playing reggae and playing out when you first got to America?
When I started that, I was in the graffiti scene.
And as far as trying to make the American people dance to the music, I started to say that I could use their rhythm bass instead of using Jamaican rhythm bass. But along the way, a few people know I was Jamaican.
Boom, I do it the one-on-one. That's how I do it. I know. Okay. I know. My sound play that whole shit. Let's go. Oh, was it dope like that? I never even heard the whole record. Yeah, hell yeah. I bumped into that shit by accident. It's for like Jamaican people on the cover. I said, let me see what that shit is. Bullshit. Huh? It's a grown folks. Absolutely.
And then we had to do something. We had to change, but people were getting bored. So we started playing them over and over again. They had a beat part, what we call it, the jump part, but it wasn't long. So we kept running them over and over again, And the producers and they were right on top of it, because after that they came out with the Disco 45. They made the beat a little longer, so we would play the beat over and over again, and we play it for about 5 minutes because people like the beat. That's when the people started partying, when you play the beat. So we played for about 5 minutes, and the record company was on top of it. So they started putting a beat part at the beginning of the record and the middle. And we did that for a while, and then they came out with the instrumental, which lasted about the entire record. So that's the beat part. We ran it. And later on, the new jocks like Grandmaster Flash, Starsky, and Kool Herc, and Red Alert, and all those guys, they took it to another level. They started running it for, you could listen to it for a whole day on the part. and with the beat part of the record playing, you didn't have any singing, so we had to think of something, so we started rapping over the music. Rapping and trying to boost up the crowd, pump them up. I started off ad-libbing myself, talking and rapping as I played music, trying to play Frankie Crocker and Ken Spiderweb. and trying to rap, motivate the people. And eventually these MCs came along. KC, the Prince of Soul, I stole him from Flowers, Grandmaster Flowers.
I'm one of the
Rudy Ray Moore, Last Poets, all these kids were rapping, all of them Blowfly, but they rap to a band.
Right.
I'm the nigga that said this got to go on a turntable. And at the time, records were made with a beginning before niggas started singing. And I took that spot right there and made it mine.
First one
before rap was a game and hip hop was a nation. Before Harlem Hill began her miseducation. Before the milk was chilling and P.E. bought the noise. Before Every Day in the Boys. Before the roof caught on fire and fresh was the word. Before Houdini and Friends and Roxanne's Revenge. Before the Freaks Come Out at Night. Before Say Hope. Before the Crash Crew was rocking on the radio. Before Whitney, Mariah, Brandy, and Janet. Before the Soul Sonic Force was rocking the planet. Before Bees of the Breaks. Before Hard Times. Before Sugar Hill, King Tim, and Super Rhymes. Before Reaganomics. Before kids got shot in stomachs. Before hip hop appeared in any comics. Before G's. Before weed was trees. Before going raw dog gave you a deadly disease. Before haters, thugs, and perpetrators. Before the alphas, before the betas. Before beepers, cell phones, and retro guards. FedEx food stamps and metro cards. Cops was 5-0. Gas was answers for B-boys. And then the break dancers, leg, crazy, Al, Swayze, LL said, hot, humid, and hazy. Before tattoos, don't get it twisted. I'm hip-hop. Always existed in its physical form and the essence of rhyme. I'm DJ Hollywood. Thank you for your goddamn time. Hey, yo, and your man wrote that too, Carry Master Kaz.
What?
Yeah, he wrote that too.
Kaz got that pen.
Yeah, Kaz got the pen. The pen of pen.
Well, I heard it though, the Hollywood party was, if Hollywood performing, you couldn't get in, like it was like the shit, it was the best.
Upper echelon. He didn't have it, the gangbangers.
Like probably like, no, Hollywood such and such, we gotta get there, nigga. See the
and
fire.
we gotta be dressed up.
Yeah.
Where he was at, dog? Where was he? Was that 70 what?
That's 73, 74, 75. Hotel Diplomat.
But no MCs disputing that you was the best.
Yeah, and they wasn't fucking with me neither. Yeah. See, the thing is, in the time period where I was running things, there was no arguments about who does what they do.
Right.
It wasn't no thing, well, Kool Herc this or that nigga that or that nigga that. There was no other conversation. When I put the mic down, that shit be smoking. Nigga, wait a minute before he picked that up. Yeah, and I did them both, the turntable and the microphone.
So you started the crowd, the call and response?
Yeah, call and response, all that. I'm the one who put the files on all the things that we do, and they're not giving me any credit. So I always say forget it, because nigga, if you bet it, you'll find out the truth is Hollywood.
We're gonna tell the story.
Actually, you're telling it tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm letting them have it.
Because the deal's up, we'll bring you on prime time action, bottom of the ninth inning.
Yeah.
You dig?
Yes, sir.
Stadium.
Yes, sir.
I'm bringing you in the bottom of the ninth because I know how you close.
Yeah, and New York wouldn't do it.
I would.
But the Snoop got
you
to
can't
it.
spell West without the ES.
Yeah, that's right.
So don't understand. That's right. The seed was planted, it was supposed to grow.
Yeah.
It was supposed to grow long as he finds his way back home. I keep saying that.
Yeah,
He
man.
finds his way back home. You see, when Too Short walked in, he acknowledged you. That's my old shit.
Yeah.
He acknowledged you off the rip. That lets you know we in order. West is in order.
Yeah.
We in line.
No question.
So sometimes your soldiers come from outside of your room.
Yeah.
No one understands that. We're here for you.
That's why they say don't shit in your backyard, because you make your own life too damn hard.
Hollywood ready to fucking niggas right now. See all these big things. He like, bring one of these niggas in here right now. Hey, which one of you niggas want to battle Hollywood right now? Nigga, I got 1,000 on Hollywood, nigga. What's happening? They got the best
Yes, sir.
of the
You
best on
already
stage.
know.
I got 1,000.
I'm live already. I gotta organize my thoughts. I was thinking in Shavasana. Shavasana is dead man's pose. At the end of a yoga class, hot yoga, then Shavasana is like, that's where you just let go of everything and thoughts come and go, but the thoughts were over and over the same shit. And again, it's not my job, but it's like a lot of things, it becomes your job if no one else will do them. Jobs become yours. God puts them in your lap. And so this morning, still talking about the same shit about hip-hop in its early incarnations and what made us come to the point where we're playing Yankee Stadium.
So I call up the head of the Hip Hop Museum. I call up the founders. They seem not to give a shit, but that's okay. Their job is to make money. But my job is to try to make sure, the job I've taken on, make sure the history is told properly, and that those people whose shoulders I stand on are not pushed aside, that they get what they fucking deserve. That's my job. As much as I can, and I want to support the Hip Hop Museum more. I'm going to. I have, but I want to continue to support building legacies for those people who built hip hop and getting compensation and credit for those people who deserve it. So I've been beefing about Hollywood, Eddie Cheever, Starsky, a whole, and when I called up DJ Rocky, who knows what I know, and what I said in my previous post, that no matter how big you thought you were, Hollywood drove by this Cadillac. He's bigger than you, and you know it, and everybody in your neighborhood. That's a fact. He agrees. He knows that's true. But he explained to me something, which I don't know if he heard my whole post. He said he saw it, but did he see it? I said, of course I understand that there were two factions in hip-hop. That the younger hip-hop people, they broke dance more. And the Champagne group that loved hip-hop, simultaneously, they would rap over not all break beats, but mostly over, like, I don't know, I'll play you Hollywood rapping over Love Is the Message. But he also, I told him, I said, yeah, but Hollywood could do it all. He could play Super Sperm and steal a crowd, but he didn't want to play where there was no money. And so it's rap we're talking about, maybe not full hip-hop. And he said he understood that those guys wanted to pay homage to all 5 parts of hip-hop, and that Hollywood, who was the biggest and who deserves credit, and he knows that. He's done tons of parties promoting Hollywood, and Hollywood is, in some people's mind, the godfather of hip-hop, because he was the biggest. He's the reason we made rap records. I said all this shit last post. If you look at the last post, you'll get a good little history lesson. But I don't want to give you a long lesson. I want to just discuss what Rocky told me. He doesn't want to get in the fight. It's not his job. He's got plenty of stuff to worry about. He's building a museum. I'm supporting him. We all are. And he just says it's just one show, Russ. I said, it's the biggest show in the history of hip-hop. And Hollywood lives in the Bronx. And if he comes out and does Love Is the Message, people will go crazy. And it'll be good for him before he dies. Love Bug Starsky is dead. Eddie Cheever is not being credited. And so they say it was separate, that he was a disco rapper and they were, well, he played in, again, places where you can make money. So here's the point. If you say that hip-hop is all of these things, how come you're at Yankee Stadium? Because these niggas are rappers. You're not there because they're breakdancers. You're not going to Yankee Stadium to breakdance. You go into Yankee Stadium and celebrate mostly only one element of hip-hop, right? And that is rap. There's no rap records without Hollywood. You're not going to celebrate breakdancing. You're not going to celebrate the other 4 elements of hip-hop. You're going to celebrate the rap stars. That's why Nas is on there. That's why Snoop Dogg is on. That's why my brother Joey will tell you that Hollywood was the biggest. So my point only is this. I didn't like the argument, because I don't like to get in. It's not my job, it's not my business, but it is my concern. And I didn't like and I don't agree with the, oh, well, it's hip-hop, and hip-hop includes break beats and so. Yeah, but ain't nobody playing. It's not limited to an only 4, and an element of hip-hop, the one that got us to Yankee Stadium, is the performing artist who rapped. King Tim made the first rap record because he came to the Apollo. Hollywood put his foot up Fatback Band's ass, and Fatback Band learned something and then made a rap record. That's the first rap record. Big Bank Hank is Hollywood. Stole his rhymes, looks like him, tried to act like him. And I told you the whole story of Woody Wood, how he was bigger than half the rappers, every rapper in Queens, and he was an imitation knockoff, full knockoff of Hollywood, Woody Wood. So I told this story, and I just want to share it again. And I don't want to, the argument that Hollywood didn't play a lot of break beats. Was Junebug not hip-hop? Hollywood DJ, Junebug. There's a movie to be made about him. He's one of the greatest DJs ever. He would cut back and forth, right? Did everybody who played for Hollywood or Cheever? Did Easy G, the DJ for Eddie Cheever, was he not hip-hop? because he cut Evelyn Champagne King back to be real, because he did that, because he cut Love is the Message. They were still hip hop, and they deserve credit. And the argument that they're making and letting the inmates run the whole asylum by the artists versus the people who were in the Bronx and Harlem during that time, they're not picking that bill. And that bill should not include the biggest rapper that ever faced hip-hop before hip-hop became a recording art. He was the greatest performing artist, and I've said it again. I'm just following up on, after hearing the excuse of why it's possible that Hollywood is not on the bill. I just reject that excuse because you're not there to break dance. You're there for rappers. Hollywood's the greatest rapper that ever lived or contributed the most, and it's the reason we made records. I know I couldn't have made a record without Hollywood because he got Fatback, and then I showed my partners, and they helped me make a record. Then Rappers Delight came out, and then you know, I mean, maybe it would have happened later. I always argued it. And another thing I want to talk about briefly, this is crazy. They said, oh, Russell, it's so great you got the most votes on a hip-hop record executive of the year. Right? Who else going to get the votes? I was lucky more times. I found Leo. I found Julie Greenwell. I found Kevin Lyles. I found, not me personally, Kevin Lyles brought me Damon Dash, Jay-Z, Foxy Brown. Between the comedy and the poetry and the records and the rest, yeah, I did more for the culture, and that's why I got the award. So, in case you're asking, some people did. Thank you. Wait a minute, how do I do it? There we go.
And changed all of our lives. So I want to thank you, Mr. Godfather. Make some noise for my brother. Oh yes, the First Lady, it was her party, Miss Cindy. She is the queen of this hip-hop thing. And this is the mother. I heard you dropping beautiful lessons on the people. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. Kool Herc, thank you, man.
You know what I mean? And that the same concept with the Super Bowl. See, they don't understand the relationship. They was trying to get him to do the Super Bowl without me.
Wasn't happening.
And that's not it. It wouldn't happen.
No way.
You see what I'm saying? Because he would look and go, it's okay for them, the award shows, not to give me the trophies. If you look at even Jay-Z's career, you can look at that and say the association to Beyonce is when he started to receive the 16, 17 Grammys since he's been with Beyonce. Right? And you go, prior to that, 1.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that came in association, like you see the kids even have Grammys. Like they don't sing yet. They don't sing. Right. They don't rap yet. And they already have Grammys and shit. So it's like they give them this trophy so we secure that they're coming to the award show. It meant that much to the culture that they just gave them the things that would. Later, to me, I didn't care about trophies. I said, I'll get the checks.
Right.
Right. And because what I was saying, the content was raw enough, like, and who I am.
Sure.
Just my experience is a little bit abrasive to conservatives.
Sure.
You know, the way they see it. So they'll look at it and go, oh, okay, like, and I haven't experienced much that Jay probably hasn't experienced in Marcy, but what I would say is he has it's internal. Like he's a quiet person. So you don't see that you don't feel the energy that actually goes on in that environment.
Sure.
From him. And then I really don't care about that. Like I looked at a lot of the later people look at it and they honor those things. It didn't matter to me in the time period when we go down like that. Don't give me the trophy, so what? Sure. You know, best new artist. They didn't give me best new artist. I sold 13 million records. It's the largest debut in hip hop out. And then you go, the new things that come, but I understand it because they didn't give me the best new artist because they were afraid their kids would want to be 50 Cent.
To anybody who I consider
as a legend of hip hop. First of all, I got an unpopular opinion. To some, to me, I mean it. So I don't have a favorite top 5 MCs. I got a top 4. So I'm just gonna go out there and say my top 4 of all time. In no particular order. Except for first place. Tupac was, is, and always will be the greatest rapper ever to influence me. Remember now, these are my opinions. And opinions are like assholes. Without them, you'll be full of shit. This is my opinion. You could agree to disagree all you want to. But I don't have a top 5. I have a top 4. Another member of my top 4 will be DMX. Rest in peace, X. Rest in peace, Pac. Another one of my top 4 would be Brad Jordan. Mr. Scarface. I'm telling you something. I'm from a city where we listen to every kind of music from every genre, from every neighborhood, every coast in the world. Where we took your records and we speeded them up when we thought they were too slow. Where we took your records and we slowed them down when we wanted to hear the bass hit hard. And we called it slow down music. While Texas was calling it screwed, we was calling it slow down. So, my last favorite rapper of my top 4, and remember, this is my opinion. And if you don't like what I'm saying, not one fuck will be given today. Ice Cube. They did music that could take me there. They can get me through it. They did music that I could remember. I can go back in time and relate to when they actually did the song and remember what I was doing at that actual time. They did music that'll make you cry, that'll make you laugh, that'll make you happy, that'll turn you up. They did music that you could see with eyes closed, without seeing a video, you can envision what they was talking about. They told the truth, they told stories, they told the history of life.
When Tupac passed away, no one thought that, but DMX is somewhat of a version of Tupac. So is Ja Rule, somewhat of a version of Tupac. You think that can happen?
Nobody's Pac, yeah.
No, nobody's Pac. No one's X neither.
Nobody is Pac.
Right.
The man seen some white people beating up a nigga.
Yeah, and he shot him.
Shot them.
He shot them. Yes. In Atlanta.
All you rap niggas is not Pac.
Right.
Once he did that, yeah, it's not close.
Right.
When he pulls his gun out and blasts these niggas. You're not Pac. Don't even go there.
And
like that, I hold Pac at the highest regard. Because of just, it's so crazy because when you really get into Pac and listen to his lyrics, I hope I die the way I live, straight thugging. He died straight thugging. Like his prophecy is retarded on the lyrics that he spoke and how he conducted his life.
It was prophet.
When you put the fucking shit together, you like, yo, this nigga ain't nobody, this nigga.
And how much he recorded, like he knew time was coming.
He was saying this shit. He was saying this shit like no one's Pac.
Oh, you ever met Pac?
Nah.
I never met Pac neither.
Nah.
Did you, the Book of Hove, are you in that book?
I don't know, I ain't see it.
And well, the famous rumor is that Dame Dash is removed from that book.
Probably. I don't think Jay likes Dame.
Damn, nigga, you can put some salt on it.
What did I say something that people don't know already?
No, but I'm being honest. Because there's so many different stories. The Leah story has just recently circulated or whatever. But I don't want to get on that. I don't think I'm that good of a media guy. But did you ever think that in the beginning when you see their chemistry? I'm talking about the three. You know what I mean? Because Biggs got he fucks with drink champs as well. But Biggs, Dame, and Jay, like when I used to see them, it used to be so tight. I never thought that this would happen. Did you see this day coming?
He would have subbed it for anybody.
Yeah.
Back then.
He was in it.
I mean.
Yeah.
Remember what I said? Mm-hmm. Jay didn't need nobody.
Right.
Jay don't need nobody.
Right.
So you really don't think that Dame had anything to do with the success?
You say that.
No, I'm asking. I mean, it's kind of a question.
Right. I remember Dame fighting for the artist. I remember that.
Because regardless of how you feel about the person, you got it. Whatever they did should be credited.
He started Rockefeller with Jay and things, so he should get credited. I'm saying the making of the records
and the studio sessions, Clark Kent was there.
I don't know. What do you want me to say?
He said it. No,
he said after they made it, Jay didn't need nobody.
You
didn't say Jay wasn't important.
Jay was picking the beats. Jay was rapping over the beats.
He gave
Jay was making things.
Right.
It was all Hove.
Right.
They was along for the ride.
Great ride.
It was a great ride.
Hip hop has been slowly taking over. The world, you can't advertise nothing right now unless you put something hip-hop in it. Right. If it's not hip-hop music, it's somebody with some hip-hop clothes on. Corporate America needs us to sell things. And it just shows the power, it shows what we've endured, and it shows that it's going to be here forever.
I just feel like the rap game right now is like semi-boring.
A lot of sounds the same and stuff like that.
Exactly. I just feel like everybody, since COVID, I feel like they put us inside, and I feel like we never came out.
Right.
Even though we out, we not out. The energy ain't been the same. You feel me? I ain't been to a party yet that I've been feeling like, ooh, it's like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I ain't even been driving down the street where I was at the red light, and I just felt like it was like that. You know what I'm saying?
Felt like that, right?
Yeah. So I felt like mentally we've been inside. Yeah. Since COVID, so to me with this music, with this tape, I tried to make the outside music. Hopefully I'll be a part of what brings us all back out here.
Going, yeah.
Man, Shaka Zulu wanted to see you back here.
Steve. What does 50 years of hip-hop mean for you? We'll start with you.
It means everything for me, coming from the Bronx, birthplace of hip-hop. I'm honored here to represent hip-hop this morning with my sister Remy and Busta Rhymes and Bia and Spliff. It's an honor to represent hip-hop culture today right here in Good Morning America.
All right, and Remy.
Hip-hop changed my life. It changed my family life. I've been seeing this year with the 50th of hip-hop, a lot of our pioneers getting their just due. So I'm happy to see our pioneers come out and the people that we looked up to. So, it's a wonderful thing.
And hip-hop is turning 50 this year. What does the genre mean to you?
It means what it's always meant, that we didn't need a seat at the table. We had our own table. But it's nice to be recognized for something that we've been telling you guys for years.
Who are your top 5 favorite rappers dead or alive?
Inspect the Deck, Inspect the Deck, Inspect the Deck, Inspect the Deck, and Method Man.
You rap and you post all the time, and then hip-hop's birthday came around and you can't even say thank you. I saw you. Just know I saw you. And there's gonna come a day, all these rappers, there will come a day when your ass will be on the internet complaining about not getting your flowers. But you don't give your flowers or no acknowledgement to hip hop or anyone else.
Is there someone specific you talking about?
Nah, it's
Okay.
mad people.
Oh, okay.
It's mad people. And I'm not talking about people who ain't even on social. Like, there's some rappers that just don't even post. Right, you know what I mean?
You talking about the guys that are
But
always
there's
on
people constantly posting.
and not saying nothing.
Yeah. Like, this ain't an RIP trending thing.
Bruh, all you needed, you could have just posted, type on the little note thing in your
Happy
phone.
birthday, hip hop. Thank you.
Thank you. Like, you ain't got to post a whole 10
Message.
photos and a whole long thing. Just say
Right.
thank you.
This is the birthplace, the Big Bang, 1520 right here, where it all began.
1520 Cedric Ave.
But I really think that y'all should really understand from a very real perspective that hip hop is like a real deep spirit thing, and it's a mentality thing, and like, you know, we don't really look at hip hop in the same way as we would look at a religion, but it's truly a culture. It's not a religion, it's a culture. And we live by this. We live it. We breathe it. We sleep it. And it's like, this thing has saved lives. It has really been the most influential culture globally.
Well, and there is so much love here in this crowd for you.
Incredible, right? Happy birthday, hip hop!
Supporting artists. It was like a homecoming for kids who out of school from down south or wherever.
The first party was a back to school party, and Herc played and we organized it. It was a party to raise money, to buy books and clothes to go back to school. And all our friends were invited. It was pretty much something for us to get together and have a good time before we started school. So it was 25 cents for the girls and 50 cents for the fellas. Our parents were there to help us to organize the party, but it was fantastic.
I am gracefully embracing the receiving of my botanical garden of flowers.
And it looks good. You know, I was telling Eva earlier, it's impossible to talk about hip hop and not mention Busta Rhymes. What does it mean to you that we are here some 50 years later?
I mean, it's kind of hard to describe it without being emotional. You know what I'm saying? I think there's really no amount of words that could describe the impact that this beautiful culture of hip hop has had on us. And I think, like, way beyond, like, when people think of hip hop, I think people think of, like, you know, the rap music, and you think of, like, you know, break dancing, or you think of, you know, the slang talk or whatever the case may be.
There's tons of millionaire rap artists alone. 20 years ago, there was no record deals. There was no shows for just anybody. Now everybody's touching some money. So what rules? The rules is go get money. So all the rules went out the way. All the rules were forgotten. You know what I'm saying? And what happens is dudes get lost because they never had to follow no rules. They never looked up to anybody that was a stand-up person. So it's all about paper, paper, paper. There is no rules. So what happens is they wind up one day, I got a little money and I don't know why I don't have no real respect. Because they forgot to look at the examples before them.
Running it down on these niggas. Sex, drugs, money, and murder, my nigga. You know how we get it, my nigga. Still be planting them bitches, my nigga. Ripping that roll, who fucking your bitches. Sex, drugs, money, and murder. 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 Niggas, they never will hurt you. Niggas, they never will hurt you. Sex, drugs, money, and murder. Sex, drugs, money, and murder.
Had the traps right, understand how to get that. Ran down on them niggas with a flip back. Knew I never seen none of nigga live like that. I was still getting stacks back. Had to fuck around getting them packs back. Niggas.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's Gotti. You know, before we start this video, I want y'all to do is smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video, and make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, just smash the like button. It's your boy Bulletz Gotti. It's the Bulletz Gotti Show. Salute. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Bulletz Gotti. You already know what it is. Salute to everybody. Hope y'all having a lovely weekend. This video was really about 50 years of hip hop, but also about Jay-Z being #1 on another 50 rappers list on another publication, this time Complex. The last time it was Billboard, Rolling Stone, all these lists where people is just putting, casual rap fans are just putting any and everybody on hip-hop lists. But 50 years of hip-hop, starting out in the Bronx, on Sedgwick Avenue, Kool Herc, doing the first publicized party, which is on film and it's recorded. Coming off of a gang truce, the death of Black Benji. Salute to Nas for basically doing what he's been doing for Hip Hop 50. Salute to 50 Cent and LL for really keeping the culture alive and showing people that it's 3 cats from Queens that's keeping this hip hop culture alive. Nas, LL, and 50 Cent. Say what you want, but they keeping the culture alive. They showing that, we still gonna keep hip hop alive, off of the strength of us. What 50 is able to do, the heights that 50 is able to do with his tour right now, selling the amount of tickets that he's selling, and he's doing this off of his own pocket. Live Nation is just a sponsor. He's really digging out of his pocket to do this tour. So you gotta respect him for that. LL Cool J, Rock the Bells, and then he got the Force tour, which he's doing big things with that. And Nas, coming off of selling out Madison Square Garden and doing all these Hip Hop 50 concerts that's been going on in the city is responsible because of Nas and Mass Appeal, Hip Hop 50. And he's been doing a lot of legendary things right now with the Hip Hop 50 concert at Yankee Stadium. And, what his company Mass Appeal's been doing with Showtime with the Hip Hop 50 documentaries. A whole lot of big, powerful things they've been doing. Talking about 50 years of hip hop, Kool Herc, Hollywood, Disco King Mario, in my opinion, will always be the godfathers of this hip hop culture. Mario, Herc, and Hollywood is really, and Coke La Rock, gotta put Coke La Rock in that. Coke La Rock is definitely, like when you talk about godfathers, Coke La Rock is one of those. Everybody like to say, oh, well, what about Flowers? And what about this one and that one, right? I respect the Flowers. Flowers and a lot of those guys from Brooklyn, well, mostly disco DJs, right? Pete Jones, you could say, was hip hop, but he was mostly disco too. But when it comes to like hip hop, Hollywood, Herc, and Mario. Shout out to Nas to even having Hollywood there, because Hollywood performed and Herc. So to have those brothers, those is two of the godfathers of the culture, because Hollywood basically was the first rapper / DJ, right? And he started off the rhyming, him and Coke La Rock and all that. Those are the godfathers. That's why they was at Hip Hop 50, Coke La Rock, Hollywood, and like I said, Herc and Mario. It all started with Mario, Herc, Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else want to insinuate themselves in a conversation. You can't, because when it goes back to who did it first and who's legendary, you know, the Sugar Hill Gang, how it was created, was off of the backs of Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? People don't understand the story of Sylvia Robinson. She had her son Joey had a party, and the DJ of the party, the person that was of the DJ, the performer of that party was DJ Hollywood. Hollywood was known by the hustlers like Guy Fisher, Nicky Barnes, and all them cats. He was doing A parties, right? Hollywood parties was for the hustlers, for the get money dudes. Herc parties was for, you had the hustlers there, but you had the B-boys there. Mario, same thing, right? But all three of them, it's all for the backs of those three brothers. I always say that if you want to talk about the godfather of hip hop, Hollywood, Herc, and Mario is the three godfathers of hip hop. And then if you want to put Eddie Chiba in there, you could put Eddie Chiba in there. Eddie Chiba, you could say Eddie Chiba was another one that's a godfather of hip hop. You could say that, right? Now everybody else that want to come in the conversation, I always say, nah, you can't put them cats in the conversation, because historically these brothers are the conversation. So that's why Mario got a street name after him. You know, that's why Herc got a street name after him. You know, we talking about legendary cats that really, you know, paved the way. I always say, right, when it comes to like the Sugar Hill Gang, they always say, yo, that was the first rap record. Well, technically it was the first hip hop record, but King Tim III, even though it was a funk record and it was they was a funk group, but King Tim III was actually the first rap record. But then if you want to go on disputing Spoonie G, or Super Rapping, you know, it was a lot of records that came out around that time. But the only why Sugar Hill Gang gets the credit is because it was mainstream, right? It was a big mainstream record, right? And Big Bang Hank stole Grandmaster Cash's verses, straight like that. Stole Grandmaster Cash. He was Grandmaster Cash. Grandmaster Cash was his manager. He was Grandmaster Cash's manager. Instead of him bringing Grandmaster Cash to Sylvia Robinson, he went to Sylvia Robinson with that man Rhymes. That's why now you see Cash, he come out there and he performed with Sugar Hill Gang, because it's only right. You gotta have that man, because that was that man Rhymes. I'm the C-A-Z. Come on, my nigga. He was spelling Casanova name. He was spelling Cash name. So, you know, that was the most sad thing about the hip hop thing. It was that, you know, if you really look at it, anybody that bite like how Big Bang Hank did, you can't put him as a legend. You know, that was plagiarism, straight like that. And I'm glad that Cass is getting the credit that he's getting, because, you know, he stole that man Rhymes. You know, that's why I don't really rap with Rappers Delight, because you had one dude that stole a nigga whole Rhymes. You know what I'm saying? R.I.P. to Big Bang Hank, but he stole that man Rhymes. You know, he stole that man Rhymes. And he was that man's manager. You know, that was the crazy part about it. But he stole his Rhymes. Nas did a beautiful celebration for 50 years of hip hop. The Cold Crush Brothers. LL did the same thing with the Rock the Bells. I said the three brothers from Queens, LL, 50, and Nas, really repped hip hop right. And these brothers is hip hop through and through. That's why, you know, Queens need to get the respect that they get, because Queens is keeping the culture alive. Now let's get to this list. Now, this is my opinion on the list with Jay-Z and being number one on the top 50 greatest New York rappers. Now, people don't want to put Tupac as a New York rapper because they said he's from the West Coast and he repped the West, but Pac rep both coasts. And if I'm gonna do a hip hop New York City list, he needs to be on that list. He needs to be on that list. You know, you can't just not put the man on the list because he repped the West. Dude, he was born in Harlem and he lived in Harlem. And not only that, he lived in Harlem, but if you listen to Me Against the World, practically the whole album was an East Coast album, really. He said it out his own mouth. He did that album for the East Coast. So that's why I don't understand why people, when they do these lists and they always talking about rappers and when they come to Tupac, they never want to put respect on that man's name. But that's here nor there. So my problem with the list is Nicki Minaj shouldn't be on that list. Cardi B shouldn't be on that list. Ice Spice shouldn't be on that list. Love Pop Smoke. Love Pop. Pop shouldn't be on that list. When you talk about greatest New York City rappers, 50 greatest, and you not even putting the 50 great, and then the one that I'm not understanding is why Jay-Z number one. Like, he didn't have an era. Like, there's dudes on the list that should be over him. Nas is the one that should be over him because of the consistency and what he's done as an artist. To still be relevant from 91 to now. His album Illmatic was heavily bootlegged. SNS was throwing out those records like crazy on the mixtapes. We always want to, and I think the thing that the problem is that the media has a love fixation with Jay-Z that every list they have to put Jay-Z as number one. Like, we gonna forget about the great 50 Cent run that we had from 2002 to 2009, right? We gonna forget about what Rakim did to the game. We gonna forget about LL Cool J being the greatest of all time, KRS-One. We gonna forget about what Mace did, what DMX did, Ja, Jada, whoever, Big Pun, Grand Puba, CL Smooth, the list goes on, right? KRS-One. We just gonna forget about all these rappers. Big Daddy Kane, we gonna forget about them, right? We gonna put Puff in there, right? Love Puff, but Puff's not a rapper. He don't belong on that list, right? You just gonna say that Big and Jay is number one and number two? Big had only two albums. Big didn't have a full body of work. He wasn't in the studio like crazy and had so much music. He's not like a Nas or a Tupac. Tupac had still got vaults and storage spaces of unreleased music that nobody has heard. Nas, same thing. These are people that are workhorse artists. Jay, like I said, the impact of Jay-Z didn't even start until Blueprint 1. And that was 2001. That was years after his first album. That was like, what, 5 years after his first album? Like, everybody say, oh, well, Volume 2. Volume 2 came out the same time that Dark as Hell is Hot, Flesh in My Flesh came out. You got DMX is coming out back to back with 2 classic albums. And then in 99, he's coming out with another album. Then there was X, which did 5 million, sold 5 million copies. Knocked Jay-Z out the water. The only why the success of Volume 2 was even as successful is because of the hype of the DMX hype. His album came out the same time as Jay. He had Swiss on there. He had Irv Gotti. He had an Andy sample from Mark 45 King that Kid Capri gave him. Right? So if it wasn't for Mark the 45 King, Kid Capri, and Irv Gotti, Swiss, the DMX, I like to call it the DMX offense, right? That helped that album, and then having a young Ja Rule write a hook that was basically his record, Can I Get a What? Was Ja Rule record that helped that album sell. Without that, Volume 2 would have never been successful. We have to really be real technical with these conversations, because Jay-Z has never been, and I don't understand in this day, right, that, and it's no knock on Jay-Z. Jay-Z is cool, but he's not my cup of tea of an artist. I like Jay-Z records. I know a lot of his records. He got good records, but I'm not a Jay-Z fanatic. I'm not a Jay-Z stan, okay? And it to me, it just, when I look at a lot of these lists, you could tell who are real hip-hop listeners and who is casual hip-hop fans. Casual hip-hop fans, a.k.a. the stans, will always say Biggie and Jay-Z, right? Now, a real listener would not even go with Biggie and Jay-Z, because Biggie is not a supreme, is better than Rakim, or LL, or even Pac, or Nas. No offense. Jay, none of these dudes. You know what I'm saying? So, when it comes to like the greatest rapper, and we have dudes that was selling more units than Jay, was impacted the culture more than Jay and Biggie. Okay, like, Biggie didn't have the same hype that Nas had. You have to remember, Nas came out 91. They was waiting for his album to drop in 92. His album came out in 94. They was waiting for him to drop after he did Live at the Barbecue, Back to the Grill Again, Halftime. So the anticipation and the hype that Nas had in the 90s was out of this world. People talk about Pac, and always, like, people say, oh, Pac ain't lyrical, and they never want to put Pac on East Coast. I was listening to something with Mano. He said Pac ain't an East Coast rapper. How's Pac not an East Coast rapper? He's born in the East Coast. He lived in the East Coast. He didn't go to California until he was 18 years old. 17 going on 18 years old, he went to Cali. So he technically is not a Cali nigga. I'm just being honest. Majority of all the East Coast rappers, I don't care if it's Ja Rule, Joel Santana, Cameron, whoever, have jacked Pac slang, has spit Pac verses in they raps. Fab, whoever, you name them, they have spit a Pac verse in they raps. So why don't we include him in a New York 50 rappers list when the man has a lot of impact in NYC hip hop? Because every nigga that came, the home of the skitty nigga, where the skitty niggas ride, like, nigga, Jewels was spitting that on fucking Dipset anthem. I'm from the home where the skitty niggas ride. That's Pac, nigga. Forever balling, never falling. Like, come on, my nigga. A lot of these lines that we that niggas was spitting, Pac was saying those shits, and then you will hear this from other East Coast rappers. So Pac had more influence on the East Coast, not just only the West Coast and the South and the Midwest, but he had an impact on the East Coast too, because every rapper was using his slang, spitting his verses, spitting maybe 8 bars. 8 or 4 8 bars from Tupac. So he should have been on that top 50 greatest rappers list from the New York. Sorry. It is what it is. You gotta, like, if we gonna talk lists, we gotta have them in there. Now, back to Jay-Z. Jay-Z shouldn't even be in the top 5 or top 10. Because it's more supreme lyricists. Nas should be number 1, in my opinion. And if y'all ain't want to put Pac in there, okay. But Nas should be number 1 and LL should be number 2. We talking about longevity. And if Pac was on the list, I would have Pac number 1 or number 2 and Nas number 1, number 2. We talking about, and LL got to be number 3. And then number 4 got to be 50. And number 5 got to be DMX. We talking about influence, impact in the game. We talking about top 50 greatest rappers. Nicki Minaj don't write her raps. Ice Spice, come on, man. We talking about, and we put entertainers and people that not qualified to be on lists like that. Lil' Kim should be on that list, but she should be more high on that list because of her impact, her influence. Every female rapper has been influenced by Lil' Kim. Lauryn Hill should be up there, influence-wise. MC Lyte, Queen Latifah, or Queen Latifah not from New York, but MC Lyte, you know, the influence-wise. You know what I'm saying? It's just people, artists that influence the game should be the top 5, top 10. Everybody else that we just putting in there on some casual fan shit, Jay-Z do not deserve to be on no top 5, top 10 lists. There's nobody you could say that has been influenced by Jay-Z. I don't care if you say, oh, but this rapper was listening to Jay-Z. Jay-Z, have you ever seen Jay-Z set the tone or niggas was using Jay-Z slang? Everybody, when Nas came out, everybody was saying done. Everybody was saying a lot of Nas slang and swag and all that. Nas influenced the culture. He influenced the culture. Tupac influenced the culture. There's rappers that influence the culture. Okay? A lot of these other niggas that come in the game, if not, Big Daddy Kane influenced the culture. Rakim influenced the culture. KRS-One, Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh, whoever influenced the culture. When it comes to Jay-Z and Biggie, okay, Biggie did what he did. Biggie said what he said. I'll give Biggie that. But Biggie had 2 albums. That's not enough to impact a culture with 2 albums. One album he was alive for. The other album he died. Just like with Big Pun. If you going to disqualify Big Pun, Big Pun I think had a better debut album than Biggie, Capital Punishment. And I feel like Ready to Die was a great album, but it was more of a mixtape demo album. And that the album was, a lot of filler was in the album. And not only that, the album is dated. You could tell by when you listen to the album, it sounds like early 90s. It sounds like 92. It sounds like 93. It just sounds like that. You know what I'm saying? And Life After Death is a better album. It's a better Supreme album because production, the flow, all of that. But Biggie didn't live to see the success of that album. He died. So you can't really get him on that and say, yo, Big. You can't. Big was dead. You know what I'm saying? He was dead when that album dropped. Just being honest. He was dead. Same thing with Big Pun. You know what I'm saying? So Big should be in the top 10, you know, and Big Pun should be in the top 10 because Big Pun, in my opinion, you know, what Big Pun did in the game was dope. That nigga Pun was the first Latino rapper to go sell them units. And not only that, he was the first Latino rapper to be nominated for a fucking Grammy for his album. Let's get that clear. Pun did extremely great as an artist. And Pun set the tone and changed the game. Love Big. Got mad respect for Big. Big shouldn't be number 2. I'm sorry. Love Big, but can't put him number 2. And then Jay-Z, on the other hand, like I said, you know, Jay stole a lot of niggas' verses. Jay wasn't original. His style was really a mixture of Nas, AZ, Raekwon, Mobb Deep. It was a mixture of a lot of niggas. When he first came out, original flavors, he was a Fushnikins rapper. So Jay really wasn't a dude that was like spitting on the witty shit. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta say, every time he dropped, it was niggas selling more than him. It was niggas that had more of an impact in the game. You gotta remember, when he dropped in 97, it was all about Bad Boy. It was all about the second album, right? It was all about Bad Boy. It was all about Biggie, Puff, and Mace, right? 96, it was all about Ghostface. All about Lauryn Hill, the Fugees, you know, Nas, Tupac, Outkast. That was 96 it was about. Jay-Z was in the complete shadows, right? 98 was all about DMX, Nori, Cam, down south niggas like No Limit and Cash Money, right? 99. Cash Money, Rough Riders, you know, and Ja Rule coming in. 2000, Nelly, Eminem, you know, Ludacris. 2001, even though he had some success in 2000, he had success in 2001. He still had the competitors, Eminem, Nelly, Luda, Fab. Jada came out that year. 2002. You get Eminem again. Nelly still popping. Luda. And the rise of 50 Cent. Ja Rule still killing it. Ja Rule was killing it in 01. So Ja Rule's coming in and killing it. In 03, you get the 50 Cent Mania. G-Unit. Outkast. You get what I'm saying? So when did, his biggest album, his biggest number 1 album was Kingdom Come. That was his biggest album. Kingdom Come. And people talk about the Book of Hove. People talk about Jay-Z, and all this. I'm saying to myself, Kingdom Come was his highest selling album and his highest album on the Billboard charts. Then his second album, his second highest album, was Blueprint 3. So Kingdom Come, Blueprint 3 was the biggest albums that went number 1 that was successful for him. And this is Jay-Z past his prime, right? So Jay-Z in his prime didn't have the success that these other rappers had. So this is why I always say to myself is that why do we put Jay-Z in there? People keep saying about longevity. What longevity? A lot of rappers got longevity. Busta Rhymes got longevity. But nobody wants to put Busta Rhymes higher on lists because he been relevant since 89 going into motherfucking now. Nas been relevant. So when we talk that longevity and that relevancy, we got to be specific on what we're meaning by that. Because when you have these conversations and these discussions, people just go and they just ramble. And then you have people that make these lists and keep saying Jay-Z, Biggie. And it's like your discussions, your arguments are invalid. Because we're talking about hip-hop 50 years. And we talking about dudes, we gonna do those lists. It's about influence. It's about longevity. It's about what you did in the game. You know, Jay-Z didn't change nothing in the game. All he did was follow trends. Biggie died, so we didn't get to see the impact of Biggie Smalls like we saw with Tupac Shakur. You understand what I'm saying? So people always want to do what's the popular opinions. We have to be real. It's just like when we have these opinions about who started hip hop, you know, and the opinions about who started hip hop, you know, opinions is like assholes, you know. And I told you, you know, Hollywood, Mario, and Herc is the godfather, is the three godfathers of hip hop. And then you got Flash and everybody else, Theodore and everybody else that come afterwards. Melly Mel, Coke La Rock is another godfather of hip hop. With the four, it's the four of them: Coke La Rock, Hollywood, and Mario. You know, that's the godfathers, right? And then everybody else come afterwards, the Kaz and all of them. So when you go back and you look at the godfathers of hip hop, you know, everybody got opinions like assholes, but you have to come with facts. You know what I'm saying? People want to deny her, like Tariq Nasheed and all them. Like, no disrespect to Tariq, but Tariq is from the South / the West Coast. So he's going by the culture on some FBA, which I respect. But you have to go by who are the three dudes that really set the tone for this culture. And everybody will tell you the four, really. Everybody will tell you Coke La Rock was the first MC, Hollywood, Hollywood, Herc, and Mario. That's hip hop. Now, Grandmaster Flowers, people always want to say Grandmaster Flowers. Grandmaster Flowers was a disco R&B DJ. Yes, these brothers did do hip hop later, but they were disco DJs. Pete Jones, a disco DJ. We talking about brothers that wasn't about they parties wasn't b-boy parties. They parties was for the hustlers. You know what I'm saying? For the get money dudes. You know, a Herc party was a b-boy party. You know, Mario party was a b-boy party. So that's why they godfathers. You know, Hollywood, DJ Hollywood, his party was for the hustlers, but he still was hip hop. Any way you want to talk about it. Eddie Chiba, Coke La Rock, that's hip hop. Those are the godfathers. Those are the godfathers. And it's no taking nothing away from others. But those are the godfathers. And just like when I said about the lists with Jay-Z, you cannot put Jay-Z as no number one, because what is he solidifying? You know, I look at hip hop like this, right? Hip hop right now is at it's not in a good space, but it's okay. You could tell that labels is not trying to sign rappers no more. I heard what Ebro said. He said something about and dudes should have paid more homage to the culture for the 50 years of hip hop, and be thankful for the culture, because it's been here for 50 years. You know what I'm saying? A lot of dudes came before a lot of dudes, and you have to acknowledge that culture. You know, you have to acknowledge the 50 years of hip hop. You know, like I said, it was a beautiful thing that they did to bring out all the icons and all the legends. A lot of them didn't perform. You know, Public Enemy was there, Flavor Flav was there, everybody was there, KRS-One, whoever, whenever, Cold Crush, whoever it was, they all was there to perform. And if they didn't, they was all there. You know, just like with Rock the Bells. You know, Nas and 50 and LL is holding this culture up. Brothers need they need medals for that. You know, shout out to Fat Joe for doing what he do. You know, and like I said, when it comes to the hip hop list, you know, Jay-Z is not a 50 greatest rapper. You know, it's like every list you look, they putting Jay-Z as number one on lists, and it's like, how can we put him number one on every list? That's how you know the media is infatuated with this guy. But we already know he's friends with the the Elliot Wilsons of the world, the Dream Hamptons, and all of the hip hop journalists, and they do a lot of dick licking on Jay-Z, you know. But everybody knows that's really fans of the culture that Jay-Z did not change nothing. He didn't set no tones. He didn't change the game. He just trend hopped all through the eras. And that's what kept him relevant, who he was standing next to. So whether he was standing next to the Philly dudes like Beanie Siegel or Ja Rule and DMX or Biggie and that whole bad boy shit, or, you know, Kanye West and his wife, he knows who to stand next to keep himself relevant. But when it comes to staying true and longevity, he's not like Nas. Nas stayed true to the culture, and his longevity shows. Just like Busta, longevity, it shows. You know, Big don't have the same impact as a Tupac. We got to re-examine these lists. Like, why are we not putting Tupac in the conversation? Because, like I said, Pac has done a lot of albums and songs talking about New York culture. This dude is a New York artist. Y'all keep trying to act like he not. Why we keep trying to, like, deny the man from being from where he's from? He's from Harlem, man. He's from Harlem / the Bronx. He HBO. Why is people denying this man where he come from? Why is people not trying to put this brother on the list, is knowing that this man is basically a New York rapper, but went to the West Coast? It's no, not like, come on, man. We claim a lot of rappers, but we don't want to claim Pac. When all the rappers that came out all was saying his thug life and all his mantras and slangs and all that in they raps. This man had to have an influence in New York. He had to have an influence everywhere. If he wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Because these lists is about the influence. It's about the impact of what a nigga did in the culture. Jay-Z just has never had an impact. It's like with the whole Book of Hov thing. Like, have you ever seen this man once celebrate the 50 years of hip-hop? He's celebrating himself. He's not celebrating the culture. Because Jay-Z's never been about the culture. He's about the money. Nas is about the culture. He's born in 1973. He's going to be 50 years old this year. So he's born on the day the culture was started. On the year, I should say. Not the day. But the year that the culture was started, he's born. That man is the personification of hip-hop. Jay-Z is the personification of corporate hip-hop. Let's get that clear. Mainstream hip-hop, commercialization of hip-hop. I love commercial hip-hop. Love it. But if we're going to be technical about it, Jay-Z is not the personification of hip-hop. He's not the personification of the greatest MC of New York. Because there's many dudes that influence. How you going to put Jay-Z over 50 Cent? When this man sold his debut album, sold more than fucking Reasonable Doubt. How you going to put him over Nas? When Nas had the biggest impact in fucking the 90s when he first came out. Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, DMX, whoever. Come on, man. Shit is crazy, bro. You know? Shit is crazy. You know? But like I said, man, they want to make these bozo lists, man. You know? This is the thing that people had with the Billboard list. And the Rolling Stone list with the albums. You know, it's like, you know, we got to stop. I understand people like Biggie and they like Jay-Z, but we got to be realistic here, man. You know, Biggie did have a long career. He died in 97. He only was big from 94 to 97. That's a short career. Pac had a longer career than that. So Big should have been a little bit low on the list. You gonna have Pun low, then you gotta have Big the same way, because Pun got the same amount of albums that Big has. Just being honest. Talking about impacts. Come on, man. I'm just saying. Like, dudes just don't know hip hop, man. They just go wild, you know, the commercialized shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, Big was big, and yeah, he did what he did, but let's just keep it real, man. Big was lazy in that studio, man. Big didn't have that much body of work. Biggie didn't have that much body of work. Biggie had, like I said, Biggie had Ready to Die, Life After Death. He died before Life After Death dropped. Ready to Die was the only album he lived, and that's a dated album. Jay-Z. Come on, man. How is he number one on these lists? It's a rationale. That nigga's not a 360 rapper. We gotta be rational. That's why I understood what Millie Mel was saying and Big Gip was saying. It doesn't make any sense when dudes be trying to be rational to put Jay-Z on these lists. Come on, man. It is what it is, man. Salute. This video, please make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Make sure we get into the algorithm. Like, share, and subscribe if you like this video, and hit the notification bell. It's your boy, Bulletz Gotti Show, 2 Cleanos.